Hi all, welcome back. I'm Shweta and today I'll take you to an interesting journey of Azure called availability sets. In our last video we have seen the concepts of data center, region and geography and how whenever we are creating any Azure resource we have to specify the region. We really cannot specify which data center or which geography that our resource will be created, but the only entity that we can specify is a region. How Azure internally picks up a data center within a particular region is something beyond the control of the administrator. In that case, how are we ensuring that the business continuity parameters of our application are met? Let us say that the data center is down, then will my application be down? And if not, what are the provisions Azure provides so that I can meet the uptime SLAs of my application? And in the same time, we have seen that the business continuity is one of the very important factors why one chooses cloud. Let us understand some of these concepts in detail. So what is business continuity for you? A very quick recap from our very first video that business continuity means resilience, which means that your application needs to be providing disaster recovery, high availability and provisioning of backups very easily. So Azure has that inbuilt capability to provide comprehensive set of business continuity solutions. But there is one big catch that you have to establish it. The provisions are there, but as an architect or as an administrator, you need to establish the business continuity provisions to be able to realize the real power of Azure. So now very quickly the definitions of these three terms. High availability, it means that it is an ability to maintain acceptable performance irrespective of high load or any failures. Those failures could be in terms of your service failure, hardware or even data center failures. Disaster recovery means ability to recoup even in situations of loss of the entire region data centers through asynchronous replication for failover of virtual machines and data using services like site recovery and geo-redundant storage. And backup means the ability to replicate the virtual machines to one or more regions using the concepts of Azure Backup. So with these definitions very quickly, let's understand what are the different scenarios where your application could fail. So some of those scenarios are unplanned hardware maintenance or unplanned failures. Like for example, if the power supply to your rack in the data center is failing, then the virtual machines or the servers which are placed on those racks fail, internally causing the application failures. Even planned maintenance and outages, those could cause the virtual machines to go down, leading to the application failures. So in order to reduce the impact of the downtime because of the above reasons, we can create the virtual machines in a concept called availability sets. We can combine them with a load balancer, and to take it one step further, we can use availability zones and concept of region pairs to make it much more available. Hypothetically, let us say that you are building a 3-tier architecture application and your architecture for infrastructure looks something like below. You have front-end servers and you have application servers and then you have a database server. And whenever a request from the external is coming, it hits the public load balancer first, picks up one of these front-end servers, which internally hits the internal load balancer, picks up one of these application servers, could be for caching or any other extensive processing, and then the data gets saved in the database server. Now your lead is asking you to go ahead and create these virtual machines. So in this particular diagram, we have 7 virtual machines. And based on our last video, since we know how to create a virtual machine using Azure Portal, we'll go and randomly create 7 virtual machines. So based on the geographical proximity of the user base who are going to use my application, I'm going to select the appropriate region in Azure. Assuming I'm going to select the Central India region, what are the different possibilities in which the VMs get created? So one of these could be that it selects one data center in central India but multiple racks. Could be one rack per tier, which means that all front-end servers go in one rack, all application servers go in another rack, all database servers go in the third rack. That could be one possibility. The second possibility is one data center and one rack for all the tiers, which means all the 7 virtual machines are sitting in one rack only. And the third possibility is one data center and different racks for each tier, which means that all the web front-end servers go in different racks, all the application servers go in different racks, all the database servers go in different racks. There are multiple other possibilities, like even selection of different data centers itself, or even when I say multiple racks, it could mean from 1 rack to 7 racks. But in these given options, which is the best possible option that your application will be highly available? Pause your video for a minute and think about it. For your application to be up and running, at least one virtual machine from each of the tiers needs to be available. So think about it. In the option number 1, we said that one data center and one rack for all the tiers, which means that all these 7 servers go inside one of the racks in the data center. And if that one rack faces any power supply issues or any planned maintenance, etc., what's going to happen? All the servers which are in that server are not going to be available, resulting in your application not going to be available. So that means this particular option definitely does not guarantee high availability. The next option which we talked about was one data center but multiple racks. That means one rack per tier. That is, all your web front ends go in one of the racks, all your app servers go in another rack, and all your database servers go in the third rack. Now what's going to happen? Here, if rack number 2 goes for a toss, then your application in overall will not be running because at least one app server should be up and running. Similarly, if rack number 1 goes for a toss, same would be the case because without web front end, your application will not be running, and likewise with database server. And hence, this is also not an option which will guarantee you high availability. Now, the third option which we talked about was one data center but different racks for each tier, which means that your web front ends are arranged in a manner that they all do not go in the same rack. One goes in each of the racks, your app servers similarly, and your database servers likewise. So in this case, if rack number 1 goes for a toss, then your application is still up and running because the load balancer is now going to pick up one web front end server between 2 and 3. If rack number 2 goes for a toss, then similarly one of the web front end 1 and 3 will be selected and the app servers 1 and 3 will be selected. Similarly, if rack 3 goes for a toss, your application is still up and running. So this particular option is best of all the options and definitely guarantees good availability of all the lot. Of course, here we are not considering the failure scenario of the data center itself. That would be the next level of availability. But here we are safeguarded against the rack level failures. In short, we have to specify somehow while creating the virtual machine that these different tiers go in different racks. How do you specify this? This particular concept is called availability set. An availability set is an indirect ability by the administrator to be able to control on which rack within the data center the VM is to be deployed. If you remember in our last videos when we are creating the virtual machine, there was an option called redundancy required, and we did not select any kind of redundancy, but there you have a redundancy called as availability set. Shortly when we do the demo, I'll let you know how we are going to create virtual machines within an availability set. So when we have virtual machines created within the availability set, the virtual machine resources are logically grouped together, yet they are isolated from each other. Why do we say they are logically grouped? That is because they are going to perform a common function, which is the application in totality. And they are still isolated because they are placed in different racks in order to safeguard against the rack level failures. And how does it protect against the hardware failures or any planned maintenance? What is the internal concept behind this? Because it doesn't use the word rack anywhere, but it uses the concept called fault domains and update domains. Let's quickly understand these definitions, because without knowing these definitions, the concept of availability set is not complete. So fault domain is nothing but a logical group of underlying hardware like a rack, sharing common power supply network switches within the data center. So nowhere does we use the term called rack, but we use the term called fault domain. And whenever we are creating an availability set, we can select maximum of 5 fault domains based on the subscription. In few of the free subscriptions, you can still create only 3 fault domains, but a maximum of 5 fault domains can be created. And when you create an availability set, let us say with 5 fault domains, then whenever you create a virtual machine, it allocates the fault domain in a round robin fashion, which means that first it selects in the fault domain 0, then fault domain 1, 2, 3, 4, and yet again starts with 0. The concept of fault domain, if you really want to visualize, you can think of it as a rack itself, like a physical rack. So you select 5 racks if you have selected 5 fault domains, and then the virtual machines create in these 5 racks in a round robin fashion. Okay. Update domain. So now this concept of fault domain helps us protect against any power failures or network failures or any outages within the rack itself. But then there are some planned maintenance activities, right? Mostly in an IaaS deployment models, the patching of the operating system and updating of the host is not the provider's responsibility, which means that it is not Microsoft's responsibility, but it is in our control as a subscriber. But if there are any security vulnerabilities which are detected, then Microsoft will have to apply the patches to the host of the virtual machines. Now, this particular patching, Microsoft really takes care through some of the scenarios like virtual machine preservation techniques and live migration scenarios, where a reboot is not necessary. But in very rarest of the rare scenarios, we see that reboots happen and which could lead to the virtual machines going down. Hence, this particular updates, Microsoft does it only one update domain at a time. So that means it never restarts more than one update domain at a time. So if you have selected, you can have maximum of 20 update domains as per the video recording that I am currently doing. The maximum is 20. Please look out for the documentation because these numbers frequently keep changing. So again, your virtual machines will be allocated in a round robin fashion, and only one update domain VMs are updated for the planned activities. In such a manner, your hardware failures or your planned maintenance activities are still taken care, and your availability is also managed, right? So if you go back to your application infrastructure diagram, you have to ensure that all your front-end servers go in one of the availability sets, all the app servers go in the other availability set, and your database servers go in the third availability set. When you select one availability set for the front-end servers, that means that each of them go in different fault domains and different update domains. And this helps us guarantee the high availability of the overall application itself. So very quickly, another scenario, let's say you have 12 virtual machines in a web front-end tier, and you have created an availability set with 3 update domains and 3 fault domains and 5 update domains. How are the VMs allocated? So for that, you have to basically think that your virtual machines from 1 to 12, and you have fault domains 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. And update domains 0 to 4, 0 to 4, 0, 1. So what happens, right, in this scenario? If there is any planned downtime, then all the hosts under VMs of update domain zeros are updated first, which means that VM1, VM6, VM11 are updated. And once they are restarted successfully, then it goes on for update domain 1. And then it goes on to update the VMs under update domain 2. So at a given point of time, we have VMs available. Of course, we have to have concepts of load balancer in place, which will, help us redirect to the available virtual machines. So if there is any hardware failure, let's say a fault domain or a rack number 0 has failed, right? So which means that the other virtual machines which are there in the different fault domains 1 and 2 will still be able to cater to the application needs. And I just mentioned that you still need a load balancer in place to distribute the load to the available VMs. Hence, the availability is to be established as provisions are given by Azure. But as an administrator or as an infrastructure architect, I need to establish the availability options. So what are the uptime and connectivity guarantees? This is very important. Whenever we hear Azure, we understand that the SLA requirements are 99 dots, some number of nines, some number of 95s, etc. So if they say that the SLA is 99%, that means the downtime per week allowed is 1.68 hours, which translates to 7.2 hours downtime per month and 3.65 days downtime per year. If you have a SLA 99.9%, then a downtime per week is 10.1 minutes, and so on and so forth. You can look at this particular slide a little bit more in detail by pausing the video. So what is the SLA that is guaranteed by a single instance virtual machine where there is no redundancy required? The guarantee that Azure gives us is that the virtual machine connectivity is at least 99.9%, which is, if we go back to this slide, 10 minutes downtime per week is an allowed downtime for that particular single instance virtual machine. But if you have 2 or more instances of a virtual machine deployed in one availability set, then the uptime is at least 99.95% of the time, which is, if you go back to this slide, 5 minutes of downtime. That is, from 10 minutes it has gone down to 5 minutes, and significantly it is almost 50% of the savings. Yeah, that means that whenever you have more than one instance of a virtual machine in an availability set, the amount of uptime is almost double. There is no additional cost in itself for having or creating an availability set, but the cost of creating different virtual machines and a load balancer will have to be borne by the subscriber. So good points to remember: in order to have a redundancy, configure more than one VM in an availability set with minimum of 2 fault and 2 update zones. And each of the tier has to be put in separate availability sets. We need to have a load balancer in place and a VM which is added to an availability set when it is created. In order to change the availability set, you need to delete and recreate the virtual machine. Thanks everyone. This could definitely get a little tricky, but with more practice, it just gets interesting. Also, we have an upcoming demo in our next video where we'll understand the availability set through the portal. And I hope that it will clarify most of your doubts. But if you still have any doubts or clarifications, please leave it in the comment section. And stay tuned. We have more exciting videos coming. Thank you so much.